How much parent involvement is required in group classes? This is a parent question I get often, so I'm going to answer that today. But before I get started, my name is Mrs. Brown. I help homeschooling families turn their children into exceptional writers. I was featured in IEW's 2024 Megalog, and many of my students were published in the print version of Magnum Opus magazine in 2024. So when it comes to parent involvement, the first thing I always like to say is that writing is a subject that has to be taught. So the answer is kind of it depends, because it really depends on the age of your child and where they are. The second thing we want to consider is obviously every child is different. And so support and involvement might look different based on your child's needs. So let's break down what this looks like in group classes. My group classes are designed to support families who are utilizing the video-based lessons that IEW offers, which is called the SSS, their Structure and Style for Students program. So you want to think about the week in 5 days. My live classes are the end of one week and the beginning of the next. So I always start my live classes by doing review. I make sure that the students understand what they learned in their previous lesson. We play games, and then they also can use that time to ask any questions that they have and get clarity on anything that might have been confusing at all. The second part of class involves the students sharing their homework, their work, their paper with the rest of the class at their level of comfort. They can share a sentence, a paragraph, their whole paper, whatever they are comfortable with. The third section of class is what I call preview. So before a student starts the new week, I always preview the lesson. I point out and highlight the things that are really important for them to pay attention to when they're watching Andrew Pudawa teach the video lesson that week. And then I also show them examples of what a final paper should look like. The reason I do that is so that when they're doing their homework throughout the week, they know they are on the right track. That's a support that I provide to them, and it's a support to the parent. So again, your student is seeing a visual image of what a final paper should or could look like, so that when they're doing, again, their homework, they are clear that they're doing the right thing. The fourth part of class is an author spotlight, where we look at published authors and see how published authors are putting into practice the same writing skills that we're learning in class. And then we end class with Fix It Grammar. Inside of the live class, we always go over the Learn It section of Fix It Grammar, and we do the first day or the first sentence of that week together in class. Now, when the student leaves, that's when the new week starts. They will watch the video lessons, where a parent might be involved in that. Level is, if you have a young student, making sure they watch the lessons, making sure they're understanding what Mr. Pudawa is teaching on the video. Day 1 and day 2, he's teaching. So there's really nothing that you need to do other than making sure they're watching the video and they're understanding how to follow along. The third and fourth day, the student is actually usually finishing their first and final draft of their paper. That is when you'll hop in as an editor, where you just simply look at their checklist, look at their paper, and make sure that the checklist and the paper are matching, and give them any gentle, kind feedback to help them follow the checklist as closely as possible. They'll turn their paper into me before the live class. I then will hop in and give them feedback and some gentle suggestions if there's something that doesn't match the checklist. And again, that happens every single week. So they're getting feedback from me as an instructor, so that they know that they are following along or following the IEW process as closely as possible. So hopefully that answers your question. Again, just as a recap, parents should always plan to be editors, and then any extra support your child might need, like making sure they're watching the video, making sure they're understanding the video, that's where parents will get involved. Now, let me just add a couple of things to this as well, because there's a couple of extra things that I provide to provide that triangle of support around you and your child. I offer study hall. So once a week, children can come to, it's just open office hours. Basically, they can come while they're doing their homework. They can come work on their homework. They can get support from me. There'll be other students there who are probably going to be older who can help as well. I also will be happy to send like a video response to a question that your child might have throughout the week. And then the last thing that I provide is at the end of every single class, I stay on at the end for parent or student questions. So they can always catch me at the end of class once everybody has been dismissed or after I've dismissed everyone, so that there is never a moment in the week that they have a question that they don't get answered somewhere or answered by me. So I provide all of that, all of those touch points and all of that support, so that you as a parent really can hopefully just be an editor. And again, if you have a young student, maybe a little bit more than that, because they're young and they might just need a little bit more hand holding. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. I'll be more than happy to answer any additional questions. If you'd like me to answer a different question, make sure you email me or send me a message and I'll make a video response to your question as well. All right, take care. See you next time. And as always, happy writing.